So Happy Death Day to You is directed by Christopher Landon once again, and it stars Jessica Rothe as Tree, who's again stuck in a time loop where she gets killed each time by a person in a baby mask, and she relives the same day over and over again, just like in the previous movie. However, this time her environment is a little bit different, and although her goal is still trying to defeat the murder and end the time loop, this new environment plays a key role in this movie. This movie is pretty similar to the first Happy Death Day in many ways, but again, as I mentioned, some things have changed. First off, I thought this movie was pretty okay. Like the first movie, there's a lot of comedy in this movie, more so than horror, and they really put a lot more comedy in this one, more so than the first movie. Now, when there's comedy, chances are the movie is pretty enjoyable, and don't get me wrong, it is. However, there were some moments where the comedy felt a bit too forced. There would be some scenes where there's slow motion and there would be opera music playing in the background, and you get an extreme close up of basically all the characters in the general area. And I get they're trying to be funny and all that, but well, and I did find it a bit funny, but it was also very cringy at the same time. There would be a similar moment a lot later in the movie, which I won't spoil, and that one felt even more dramatic. Jessica Rothe was amazing in this movie. She was the highlight of the movie by far. She absolutely steals the show. She brings this energy with her in every scene she's in, and by far the scenes with her are definitely one of the best in the movie. I thought her acting in the very emotional scenes and the funny scenes were all really good. She goes through a bit of a character arc in this movie with the emotional scenes, where she has to lay down on the wire and make the hard decisions in life, and this ties into the new environment she's in, which I mentioned earlier. I can't talk about it too much because it's kind of a spoiler. While I'm at it, I want to touch up on the other cast members. Israel Broussard returns as Carter. I thought he was pretty good. I really like his character. He's a good guy. This movie definitely gave some more screen time to Fivu's character, Ryan, and I thought he was decent in most of his scenes. His acting wasn't great in some, but he was okay. He seemed good in most of the scenes, but in others, he wasn't. I have to say the same for the other side characters as well. The acting from the cast wasn't that great. They weren't bad either, but I thought their performance was mediocre in my opinion. I thought they could have been better. One actor in particular, however, Blaine Curran III, who plays a guy called Nick, who was in the last movie in the party scene as well. I thought he was pretty bad. He only had one scene in the whole movie, and he was just awful in it. You had no idea what he was saying and what he's talking about, mixed with the fact that his acting in his only scene was horrendous. His dialogue was cringy, and the stuff he said didn't even make sense. Literally, everyone in the theater was looking at the other person next to them, and I was like, what the F was that? Just about everything in that scene was bad. I also want to touch on the direction that this movie takes. So unlike the first one, this movie takes a more scientific approach to it. I was totally fine with it because, I'm more of a science person in school, but it might turn some audiences off as a result because it can overcomplicate things a bit. Now onto the horror side of the movie. If you're hoping for some horror movie with great jump scares, scary scenes, you're going to be disappointed. Again, this is about 60% comedy and 40% horror, and the horror scenes really aren't that appealing to me. You can find these type of scenes in almost every horror movie, and the movie wasn't scary one bit. One last thing I want to touch up on is one scene where they kind of touch on a possible direction of the third movie if they make one. I really hope it was a joke because it instantly turned me off, and I really hope they don't do it because I think it might turn out really bad. I mean, if they do, I might still watch it because it's part of this, universe, right? But yeah, I'm kind of worried if they make it because I'm pretty sure it's going to be bad if they do. Overall, I did enjoy myself, and although this movie added different elements compared to the first one, it felt very similar, and the movie did have a fair share of problems in it. I'm going to give Happy Death Day to You a 6.5 out of 10. It wasn't quite good as the first one. I definitely felt more suspense, and I was more intrigued during the first one, but it was still okay. I enjoyed myself. That being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe and comment below your thoughts on the movie. And yeah, I'll see you guys soon.